Hello students, today we are going to take a new topic, that is your intracranial medicaments. So coming to the definition of the intracranial medicaments, it is a temporary placement of medicaments with good biocompatibility into root canals for the purpose of inhibiting coronal invasion of bacteria from the oral cavity. Functions of intracranial medicaments. Number 1, it eliminates microorganisms. Secondly, it renders contents of the root canal inert. And thirdly, it prevent or control post-treatment pain. Sometimes it also help in anesthesizing anesthesia by reducing the sensitivity of the inflamed tissue, which can be difficult to anesthetize the pulp. And in case of weeping canals, where there is a persistent periapical abscess, they help in making canal dry. This is the classification of the root canal medicaments. They are classified into phenolic agents, halogens, which contain iodine compound, chloramine, iodine, potassium iodide, and sodium hypochlorite. Non-phenolic biocides, such as alcohols, aldehydes, biguanides. Under biguanides, it is a chlorhexidine and the quaternary ammonio compounds. And then is calcium hydroxide, corticosteroids, antibiotics, and some herbs. Coming to the individual intracranial medicaments, first is your phenolic agents. Under this category, there is a classical example of your phenolic agent, that is your CMCP, camphorated monoparachlorophenol. It has got disadvantages. Phenol and phenolic derivatives are highly toxic to mammalian cells, induce inflammation at much low concentration. Penetration of cytotoxic vapors into periodicium is reported. It loses its effectiveness within short period of time. Halogens. Under this is your iodine compounds. Discovered in 1800 from seaweeds, has a good antimicrobial activity but poor stability. Then is a chloramine T. It is a chlorine compound. 0.5% chloramine, has low toxicity and is stable for long period. Mainly now used for disinfecting gutta perca. Then is your iodine, potassium iodide, has a high antibiotic activity and low toxicity. Non-phenolic biocides, example is your formaldehyde and glutaraldehyde and N2. Formoxazole developed by Buckley in 1906, highly volatile and toxic, and carried by periapus to all parts of the body, and is a cytotoxic, mutagenic, carcinogenic. So its main use in your pediatric dentistry. Glutathione is colorless oil, slightly acidic, strong disinfectant and tissue fixative. Mainly bacteriostatic, used in 2% concentration, less inflammatory action is seen. N2 contain paraformaldehyde, antiviral activity is short-lived. Biguanides, classical example is your chlorhexidines, is a broad spectrum antimicrobial agent. The property is due to its cationic biguanide molecular structure. 2% is mainly indicated as intracranial medicament or as a intracranial irrigants also. It is a bacteriostatic at lower concentration and bactericidal at higher concentration. So it's a safe, has low toxicity. Unique feature of chlorhexidine is that dentin medicated with it acquire antimicrobial activity by adsorption of highly positively charged molecules of chlorhexidine. This property of chlorhexidine is also called as substantivity. This is the mechanism of action. The positively charged chlorhexidine molecule is attracted to the negatively charged phospholipids in the cell wall. Then it binds to cell wall, causing it to rupture, and there is a cytoplasm leakage and leading to the lysis of the cell and cell death. It's a strong base, more stable in form of salts, and aqueous solution of chlorhexidine are most stable within the pH range from 5 to 8, and antibacterial activity of chlorhexidine is pH dependent, being in the optimum range of 5.5 to 7, within which is the pH of the body surface and tissues. It readily dissociates at a physiological pH, releasing the positively charged chlorhexidine components. So, studies has shown that chlorhexidine is more effective in the elimination of E. faecalis than the dental tools, and this microorganism is the most commonly found in retreatment cases. So, chlorhexidine both alone and along with calcium cianide showed more actively efficacy against E. faecalis than calcium cianide alone. It can be combined with calcium cianide. Coming to the calcium cianide as endocrine medicament, discovered in 1920 by Herman. Indications: microbial control, dissolve organic remnants, heal periapical inflammation, inhibit inflammatory root resorption, stimulate hard tissue formation, and serve as a temporary obturating material between appointments. These are the pictures showing the various forms of calcium hydroxide. One is with the hydrophone, one is your plain. Limitations of calcium hydroxide: limited effectiveness in short-term use for disinfected dental tools, low solubility and diffusibility. Removal of calcium hydroxide is frequently incomplete, which leads to decrease in setting time of JW-based root canal sealants. As a disinfectant has limited use in retreatment cases, it has no effect on E. faecalis and Candida albicans. That's why we try to use calcium cianide in combination with your chlorhexidine, which has got a very good efficacy against E. faecalis and Candida albicans. Mechanism: hydroxyl ion, calcium cianide resulting in calcium and hydroxyl ion. Hydroxyl ion induces lipid peroxidation, resulting in destruction of phospholipid structural component cellular membrane. Then is your alkalization provided by calcium cianide induces the breakdown of ionic bonds that maintain the tertiary structure of the proteins. These changes frequently result in the loss of biological activity of the enzyme and disruption of the cellular metabolism. Structural proteins may also be damaged by hydroxyl ions. Hydroxyl ions react with the bacterial DNA and induce the splitting of the strands. Genes are then lost. Consequently, DNA replication is inhibited and cellular activity is disarranged. Free radicals may also induce lethal mutations. So, broadly, it is acting at three levels. One is a cytoplasmic membrane, damaging it. Second is causing protein degeneration, and lastly, it damages the DNA replication. So, hydroxyl ion is the main component for the bactericidal and bacteriostatic activity of the calcium hydroxide. Its antimicrobial action is related to its high pH, which result in the inactivation of the bacterial membrane enzymes. So these are the various forms of calcium cianide. It may come in powder form, which can be mixed with saline, local anesthesia, distilled water, and in some time with your chlorhexidine solution also. And it may come in medicated points such as calcium cianide points, which can be easily placed into the canal and then can be easily removed from the canals. So these are the studies done to test antibiotic efficacy of calcium cianide, so that calcium cianide is ineffective against E. faecalis. Already this point has been discussed, and it releases calcium cianide for about 10 days. So next, plain calcium cianide may be a oil based formulation, or it may be a water based formulation. Water based formulations have a very good capacity to release calcium hydroxide ions, hydroxyl ions, as compared to the oil based, which release very slowly hydroxyl ions. But the duration of activity for water based is up to 7 to 10 days, while as compared to oil based, it is for 3 to 4 weeks. So calcium cianide dressing has to be changed after 7 to 10 days if it is a water based, and if it is a oil based, then we have to change the calcium cianide dressing after 3 to 4 weeks. Coming to the antibiotics, used alone and in combination with other drugs, antibiotics are indicated in small minority cases when root canal disinfection persists despite other antiseptics. Litter mix paste or polyantibiotic paste are examples. Coming to the polyantibiotic paste, Grossman paste, this contains potassium penicillin G, bacitracin, streptomycin paste, and sodium capryliate. This paste contains penicillin to target gram-positive organism, bacitracin for penicillin resistant strain, streptomycin for gram negative, encapsulates sodium to target is so a broad spectrum of activity it has got, but it is ineffective against anaerobes. In 1917, it is banned because due to some allergic reaction due to the penicillins. So another combination is your corticosteroid with antibiotics combination. Highly effective in the treatment of over-instrumentation, this type of paste. As all of you know that corticosteroid has got a anti-inflammatory action along with the antibiotic which has a antimicrobial action. Placed in the inflamed tissue by paper point or reamer, steroid constitutes reduces the periempirical infection and gives instant relief of pain. Antibiotic constituents are present so that no overgrowth of microorganisms occur. Example is Liturmix paste. Trade name, it contains a glucocorticosteroid antibiotic compound. Liturmix paste was developed by Schroeder and Triaden in 1960 and was released for sale in Europe by Lederle Pharmaceuticals in 1962. The primary interest of Schroeder and Triaden is the development of Liturmix was based on the use of corticosteroid to control pain and inflammation. So constituents of Liturmix paste: tetracycline antibiotic, demiclocycline hydrochloride 3.2%, and triamcinolone actonite 1%, and polyethylene glycol as a vehicle. This is a picture showing a Liturmix paste. So 1:1 mixture of Liturmix paste and calcium has been advocated as intercanal dress in cases of pulpless infected root canals, pulp necrosis, infection with incomplete root formation, perforations, inflammatory root resorptions, inflammatory periapical bone resorptions, large periapical radiolucent lesions. Corticosteroid-based preparations have shown to cause an increased degree of inflammatory response, maximum being at 28 days. After 7 days of experiment, all test substance had low levels of inflammatory cells. Therefore, corticosteroid-based medication can be used for periods for no longer than 7 days. Triple antibiotic paste is a combination of 3 antibiotics, namely minocycline 100 mg, ciprofloxacin 200 mg, metronidazole 500 mg, and vehicle propylene glycol and saline as a carrier. Triple antibiotic powder, either mixed with normal saline or 2% coaxium, produces the largest zone of inhibition against E. faecalis. So this is very effective against E. faecalis and replicants. Concentration may vary from 1:1:1, as according to Hoshino et al. 1986, but later it was revised 1:3:3 by Takushige T. et al. 2004. So he evaluated the efficacy of polyantibiotic paste consisted of ciprofloxacin, metronidazole, and minocycline on the clinical outcome, the so-called lesion sterilization and tissue repair therapy in primary teeth with periodical lesions. This we will be herbal medicaments. This we will take in the second lectures. So today that's all. Thank you so much.